Learn about the medieval knights who engaged in the deadly sport of jousting, with Sir James Audley, a renowned jouster, being killed in a tournament in 1373, and discover how this blood sport was both a display of skill and a form of warfare. In medieval Europe, jousting was a popular sport among knights, showcasing their martial skills and bravery. Jousters wore up to 80 pounds of armor, making them vulnerable to serious injury or death from a single blow. Sir James Audley, a renowned jouster, was killed in a tournament in 1373, highlighting the deadly nature of the sport. Jousting was not just a game, but a form of warfare training, preparing knights for real battles. The most common jousting injury was a broken neck, caused by the impact of a lance at high speed. Microsoft's Redfall, a highly anticipated Xbox exclusive, received overwhelmingly negative reviews, with critics calling it a mess and a disaster. Microsoft's Redfall was highly anticipated as an Xbox exclusive, but released to crushing criticism. Critics labeled Redfall a mess and a disaster due to its numerous technical issues. The game suffered from poor performance, including framerate drops and lag. Redfall's storyline and characters were also panned for being unoriginal and poorly written. The game's developer, Arcane Studios, had promised a co-op experience, but it was marred by bugs. Redfall's failure has raised concerns about Microsoft's ability to produce high-quality exclusive games. Discover how this family of four uses Amazon Alexa and smart home devices to control their home, from lighting to temperature, with just their voices. Over 70% of American households own at least one smart speaker, like Amazon Alexa. This family of four uses Alexa to control over 20 smart devices in their home. With voice commands, they can adjust lighting, temperature, and security in real time. Smart home automation can save homeowners up to $1,300 per year on energy bills. Alexa's skills have grown to over 100,000, allowing for endless customization options. By 2025, the global smart home market is expected to reach a staggering $146 billion. Discover the surprising symbiotic relationship between clownfish and sea anemones, where clownfish receive protection from predators and anemones get cleaned and fed. Clownfish and sea anemones have a unique symbiotic relationship in the ocean. Clownfish live among the anemone's stinging tentacles, which would be deadly to most fish. The clownfish receives protection from predators, which are deterred by the anemone's sting. In return, the clownfish helps keep the anemone clean by eating leftover food particles. The clownfish also feeds the anemone by producing waste that it can absorb for nutrients. This mutualistic bond is a key example of how different species can benefit each other in nature. Learn about the Anglo-Zanzibar War, which lasted only 38 minutes. The Anglo-Zanzibar War was fought between the United Kingdom and Zanzibar on the 27th of August, 1896. The war was sparked by a dispute over who should be the ruler of Zanzibar, a strategic archipelago in the Indian Ocean. Zanzibar surrendered after just 12 minutes of fighting, but the war didn't officially end until 38 minutes had passed. The British launched a naval attack on Zanzibar, bombarding the city with 500 shells and destroying much of it. The war marked the beginning of Zanzibar's period as a British protectorate, which lasted until 1963. The Anglo-Zanzibar War remains the shortest war in recorded history, with a total duration of only 38 minutes. Discover how the Pygmalion Effect, a type of self-fulfilling prophecy, affects student performance, as seen in the famous Rosenthal-Jacobson study, where teachers' expectations boosted students' IQ scores by 15 points. The Pygmalion Effect is a self-fulfilling prophecy where high expectations lead to improved performance. In 1966, Rosenthal and Jacobson conducted a study to test the Pygmalion Effect on student performance. Teachers were told that certain students were intellectually gifted, although this was randomly assigned. The study found that these gifted students showed a 15-point increase in IQ scores over the course of a year. The Pygmalion Effect works because positive expectations influence teacher behavior, which in turn affects student motivation. See which teams give referees the toughest time, doling out the most yellow and red cards, including intense teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid. The top 5 European leagues average 4.3 yellow cards per match, but some teams exceed this significantly. Barcelona holds the record for most yellow cards in a single La Liga season with 121 inches 2017 to 2018. Real Madrid has received the most red cards in Champions League history, with a staggering 85 ejections. Italian teams like Juventus and AC Milan are notorious for their aggressive defending, earning 23% more yellow cards than other teams. The Premier League's toughest team, Leicester City, averages 2.5 yellow cards per match, significantly higher than the league average. Quibi, a short-form video streaming service, raised $1.75 billion but failed to gain traction and shut down just 6 months after launch. Quibi raised $1.75 billion in funding from top investors like Disney, Warner Media, and JP Morgan. The service launched on Apple devices and Android in April 2020 with a free trial offer. Quibi's focus on short-form, 6 to 10-minute episodes was its key differentiator and selling point. The platform struggled with low engagement, averaging only 24 minutes of viewing per day. Quibi's pricing strategy, starting at $4.99 a month, may have been too steep for casual viewers. Quibi shut down just 6 months after launch, marking one of the fastest failures in tech history. We reveal the top 3 teams with the least red cards in the English Premier League, highlighting impressive teams like Manchester City and Liverpool. The English Premier League is one of the most competitive and physically demanding leagues in the world. Manchester City has received just 54 red cards in 12 seasons, averaging 4.5 per season. Liverpool has been given 63 red cards in 12 seasons, with an average of 5.25 per season. The top 3 teams with the least red cards are Manchester City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Chelsea has received 65 red cards in 12 seasons, narrowly beating Liverpool's record. Disciplined teams like these often have a strong tactical approach and player self-control. Imagine a giant wave of molasses destroying a town. On the 15th of January 1919, a storage tank ruptured in Boston's North End, releasing 2.3 million gallons of molasses into the streets. The molasses flood traveled at an estimated 35 miles per hour, destroying everything in its path, including buildings and streets. The disaster claimed the lives of 21 people, with many more injured, and left a trail of destruction 90 feet wide and 160 feet long. The molasses was so thick and heavy that it took weeks to clean up, with workers using steam shovels and dynamite to remove the sticky substance. The Great Molasses Flood was one of the most bizarre and deadly disasters in American history, with no clear cause or explanation for the tank's rupture.